So you're still working for Nancy?
Who, your mother?
Do we know any other Nancy?
Well, I'd never work with that selfish woman.
Could you please just concentrate for 1 second and put down your phone?
Yo, listen. I'm trying my best here. I'm tired.
Of what?
Being used apparently.
How much did she promise you?
Lakini huku ni kwa wadosi kuruka.
Usilete hizo tabia zako za ghetto mtaa.
Welcome home. Steve, this is my brother, Glenn Juguna.
Mkubwa, pole.
Napata mtu akupea advice kabla umenipea.
Usijali.
Stop.
What happened to Kama?
Well, that happened.
Like he always does.
I know. Honestly, bro, I would also get rid of Kama as well.
Why? When did Kama become a risk to this family, let alone dad?
Well, when he started working for Chris.
What?
I know.
Have I been away that long?
Yeah, you have. Come on. Let me fill you in over breakfast.
Okay.
Oya buda. Mbona hujanichanua kuhusu Glenn?
Wewe nani?
Si Glenn Juguna?
Sijamrada.
Uko shua mzee?
Ngoja, umesema anaitwa Glenn Juguna?
Huyo sasa.
Basi wewe ni bro na Tiffany.
Sasa umejuaje ni bro yao sasa?
Ai, common sense msee. Joel anaitwa Joel Juguna. Nikidhani watoto wake wote wanaitwa hivyo.
Basi leo mazee karibu ni mwage unga.
Hizo manzee.
Si basi mtu akioa huko mazee ameomoka.
Toshi mboga huko buda.
Usinidharau msee. Unaweza pata nimeoa huyo Tiff ama kale kamlami kengine.
Na si uko na ndoto buda.
She's new.
Yep.
Took Shiro's place.
Yeah. I know you and Shiro were really close, but she had to leave. But only for a while though.
Karibuni chai.
Thank you, Lucy. Oh, and Lucy, this is my big brother, Glenn Juguna.
Na ni mkubwa kweli.
That will be all.
Enjoy your breakfast.
Thank you, Lucy. Don't even start.
What?
Steve. Sikuja ukule angalau upate nguvu ya kulinda.
Hapo wewe ndio umenena mtu wangu.
Alafu umecheki huyo brother ya Tiffany.
Nimemkamba fiti amedu.
Yo boy anakaa fiti.
Ndio amevaa nguo zinamkaza.
Nguo kukaza ukienda gym.
Chana na hizo. Cheki Lucy, hii Nairobi, akili ndio nguvu.
Hiyo ndio siku yako ya kuwa mnyonge hii design.
Peleka huko.
By the way, unaona nikapata kijana kama huyo. Anikatia anaweza ingia box. Alafu anioe tiki.
Ndoto za kutoka ghetto uko nazo.
Mbaya, lakini yo Glenn manze.
Hata hivyo, mimi pia kutoka nikamu huku mazee. Naona nikiomoka.
Anyway, wacha niende ni prepare food, alafu niende soko.
Haina wasiwasi. Kwani umepewa dogo uende tao?
Bedhi kama kuna kitu nataka, unaweza niambia ni add kwa hiyo list.
Mimi niko tu sawa. Hakuna kitu nahitaji.
Steve, hebu acha kulalia. Hebu ongeza kitu angalau tukulie.
Lucy wewe ni mjanja. Sasa wewe ndio umejua cheki kwa hiyo list, ongeza padlock ya gate.
Imeharibika?
Sio ndio tutagawana ma center.
Ni kama how much hivi?
Kama tao.
Wazi. Wacha ni prepare food, alafu niende soko.
Sawa, acha mimi nimalize kile nafanya, alafu nikam.
How is everything around here?
Well, it's the same old.
I mean, besides the new faces I'm seeing around.
Yeah, that's new.
How is Kamau even surviving?
Well, Glenn, that's none of our business.
Seems things never change around here.
Well, first of all, where have you been all this time and why have you not visited?
Trying to stand on my own.
You know what? I think that sometimes you're a bit too stubborn.
Look at the pot calling the kettle black.
No, it's true. You do know Dad would have helped you stand on your own financially, right?
Hawezi ridhisha kila mtu, Dad.
Oh, I'll remember that when I'm making my will.
Good. But you need to tell your daughter Tiffany why Alex was so determined to get back at you. You need to look your daughter in the eye and tell her that your past sins were haunting all of us, and she happens to be the first victim.
Glenn, sasa unajihisi we dume sana, eh?
That's not it, Dad. I just think I'd make a better father for my kids.
Oh, not when you keep misbehaving with your relatives.
I'm your son after all. You want to get me out of your will? Fine. Here are your ATMs. I don't need them. You want to keep on closing my accounts? Well, you can go ahead and do that. I don't need your money.
You'll come begging for it, young man.
You will die first before I do that. By doing what now? By sending me to go work with Nancy at J&J? Or do his shoddy deals?
No, what I mean is that he has connections.
What connections? You know, Paul and I haven't had decent jobs all year. I mean, apart from the jobs at J&J.
Oh, well, he gave Ruth connections.
Ruth, the apple of his eye. Of course.
Eriko, hebu kuja ukule breakfast.
Hapo sawa, utakuwa umenijenga.
But hakuna ngwashe, ni mkate tu iko.
Haina noma, hadi hiyo itaweza. Kwa nini pia umemaliza wax?
Kutulia tu.
Oh.
Alafu nikuulize, bedhi unataka kuwa nini?
Kwa nini unatakia nini?
Kuuliza tu.
Hadi mimi siku moja hadi kwa kijakaa hii.
For stream realistic bana.
Kwa nini si realistic?
Lakini reality yako na dreams zako ni kama mbingu na nchi.
Unamaanisha?
Si realistic.
Na wewe je, unajitakia nini kwa hii life?
Si tina try kukushusha or anything, but dreams zako haziambatani, si realistic.
Kwa nini jina realistic umejua juzi?
So, when are we meeting her?
Who?
You know, the mysterious lady who's cleaned you up and keeping you away from the family.
How come Jazz and Jill are not around?
Wow. Did you just avoid my question by asking another question?
Najua ni sister yangu mdogo.
And?
Ufai kunihanda.
Okay, seriously, what I'm suggesting is maybe you just bring her over and, we just have a look at her.
So that you can mess it up for me like the previous ones.
You did that by yourself.
How?
It's true, it all goes down to the choices of girls you've dated before.
I'm not gonna sit here and listen to you advise me.
But it's true. For instance, the Caribbean lady.
That was a mistake, my mistake. But still...
But still what?
Okay, let me go outside and take a walk around the compound. We can talk about this later.
Yeah, right. More like avoiding the question.
Mimi nakuchanua tu.
Cheki. Lakini mimi najiaminia. Mimi na believe siku moja nitakuja kuishi ile life nataka. Lakini kwa sasa hii acha nichape hustle.
By the way, nimejua kama nyakaka kuomoka.
Wapi sasa?
Jazz.
Naona kwa wax kidogo.
Ni usafi kiasi tu.
Kumbe ni nani alikupatia job huko?
Naweza sema ni Jazz alinipatia kazi huku.
Yani fiti.
Lakini job natambua brother.
Before Kamuku ulikuwa unadunga wapi wax?
Nimesol places mob. Kabla nikuje huku nilikuwa nachunga makaburi.
For real?
Ndio sasa sipe na makofini.
Noma sana.
Pia kuna time nilikuwa nachunga church. Kidogo nikakuja nikajipata huku. Yaani vile tu nimekwambia nimesol places mob.
Unaweza compare vipi job huko na huku?
Iko tu fine, thank you.
Cheki, wewe rudi kitchen, nikaa akili yako imeachilia.
Wewe nakuchanua.
Cheki, Jazz ni dema ghetto kali na mimi ni boy wa ghetto. Kwa hivyo hiyo haiwezi make.
Uko sure hujaifikiria hiyo story ya Rico?
Mimi siwezi taka kuomoka na Jazz, hata kukubali kwa manzi yangu.
So ushaifikiria story yake ya kuwa manzi yako? Lakini kama umekufia hiyo dem, usilalie masikio.
Siwezi mwagaunga juu ya dem mwenye hata zinaangalia mara mbili.
Pekee nimecheki boy handsome huku. Acha nicheki kana za kuwa single hivi.
Cheki. Acha turudi wax, nika tumebonga sana.
Hata mimi nataka kwenda soko.
Haina noma, acha mimi nirudi nichape wax.
Alafu fikiria hiyo story ya Rico.
Lucy, sasa hiyo yako ndio inaitwa kutokuwa realistic.
This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
Ha! Stupid is an understatement. Talk of crazy. Crazy is outdated, honey. Why do you think I got the ring and not you? That ring should be on my finger, you homebreaker.
Hey, Tisia, my brother. Sikuza Mwizi has caught up with you.
I bet you three feel pretty stupid for fighting over a man who clearly doesn't deserve your attention.
See you. We both know that's not true. We both know that's not true.
Everybody stop! Classmates, every Saturday on KBC. This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
Hey, Dad. I'm gonna come home for a few days.
Come on, let's go home. Seeing someone?
Yeah. I wish you had someone.
You're my girl.
There's still a lot of unanswered questions, but it appears Detective Thomas Craven was the intended target.
Mr. Craven, we have things to talk about.
Like your name and what you're doing here?
Like who shot your daughter.
I want to know what my daughter did here.
What she did was classified.
Emma Charlotte Craven was flagged as a possible threat to the United States of America.
You're gonna follow me to the city of Boston? Welcome to hell.
What does it feel like? Daughter was Emma Craven. I'm the guy with nothing to lose.
On the next episode of Behind Closed Doors.
Rico. Nini? Buda, hiyo story mimi janiingia.
Story gani msee? Ya Lucy ama?
Ati kinajazwa kwa na Brombigi.
Gani? Glenn ama Paul?
Glenn.
Wena wewe, si nilikushow?
Na wewe msee unawajuaje?
Si nilikushow nilijuana na hii familia hata kabla nilandi mtaa.
Lakini boy anakaa pesa.
Wote wanakaa tu pesa mtu yangu.
Halafu Lucy amekuweka mpangoni.
Mpango gani msee?
Hajakushow stories za soko?
Cheki. Hiyo story ni ya overquote. Itaingisha kwa ngori.
Usikue hivyo.
Nakupeleka rada bro.
Ule galdem ni mjanja msee.
Cheki. Unafikiria Lucy ndo demo kwanza kwa kimta? Ama unafikiria Lucy ndo demo kwanza kwa mjanja?
Rico, imta ile kitu tunaweza toka tu naye ni mshande pekee. Sawa cha kuwa mtiaji.
Cheki. Nyi chezeni kaa nyinyi lakini msineke kwa hiyo mix.
Cheki.
Ni nini?
Unakuwa mpangiaje Jazz?
Hakuna.
Uko sure msee?
Kwani umesikia nini?
Kusikia ama kuona?
Umeona nini?
Vitu nyingi.
Is Nancy still trying to get a dad?
Yep. Well, more of like trying to get a normal Paul.
To this death?
And if she doesn't show up, she sends someone to spy on Jazz.
How about Jill?
Well, she's still a snitch.
Sometimes I tend to think that this woman is trying to take everything that belongs to Dad, everything that he's worked all his life, and will be left in a cold.
Well, I hope you're wrong on that, Glenn.
Poleni kwa sumbua.
What is it?
Kuna mgeni kwa gate.
If it's Mama Jazz, please do not let her into the compound.
Actually, let me speak to her.
Ninda huo.
Sorry?
Ndao wanauzanga mitini dawa.
Steve, that is not a guest.
Ni vile tu nimeona niulize labda mnatumianga hizo dawa.
Sorry, thank you, but we're good.
Maybe you should try some of our organic medicine.
No.
So,
And Steve, hawkers and vendors are not allowed in this compound. Okay?
sawa.
Ni aje? Sio nisetie food ya jana hapo siwezi mind.
Hata ndio nimeweza kuoa, mnaweza ingia uchukue.
Acha nishe mkono nikam.
Hizi mpaka ushaonga.
Boss, si hata mtu huomba kwanza.
Tuomba chakula ama Mungu.
Hiyo food ikam sasa.
Hata ndio Steve amechukua na kula.
Kwani hujamwambia food iko na mstiri?
Si wako na bad manners na venye amekula briko heavy yake.
Hiyo lazima nimpashi. Buda, silete sana nipige pande.
Takuwa ngumu brave.
Kila mtu ako kinenge mtu wangu. Usikwage hivyo. Alafu Nicole kwa naitwa Latif.
Nimeduni ni tena.
Hizo ni stories zenu. Hawezi nitoa nani chakula kwa mdomo ba.
Ndio hii shopping is complete sasa.
Hmm. 9,840. That's very specific.
Mimi nimeinclude kila kitu hadi padlock ya gate.
A padlock? Why do we need a new padlock?
Steve ameniambia hiyo ingine iko almost kuharibika plus hata huwa lock sometime.
Is that even possible?
Yeah, I guess it's possible.
If it's Ethiopia, no. I don't want to see her and no, she cannot come in.
Hapana, nimeambiwa kama unaniita.
Huh?
Eriko labda nilisikia vibaya.
Actually, I would like to speak to Eric.
Sawa.
Tumepoteleana sana bro.
Sana, lakini mwakumbuka tu.
Budako si alikuwa tight sana na Joel back in the day.
Manze. Lakini mzangu tu bado alikuwa gahasla.
How is he now?
Glenn, mzangu manze. Alirest jo.
Sorry man. He was a cool dad, if my memory serves me right.
Manze, lakini mimi sasa niko sawa.
Eric, I have a few memories. Wait. Kuna siku nilikam home kwenyu ilikuwa usiku, alafu nikakam nikadozu huko. Joel akakama asubuhi. Akanitoa na fujo na vita.
Sasa ndo merada.
It's a really small world. Lakini vitu ziliturn out vinoma.
Haina noma. Chenye mzee wangu alinifunza ni kujitegemea.
Clearly.
Eriko. Naitwa na Tiffany.
Haina noma, chenja pia na Glenn afu naenda kumcheki.
Tamando ilifanya marehemu akaekewa sumu.
I'm sorry to bring this back. Lakini ningependa kujua nini iliyapenia mzee wako.
Alipatikana tu kwa keja, lakini kidhani ni ile shamba bigi alikuwa nayo ndio ilinifanya akaangushwa.
What?
Manze.
Alafu hiyo shamba kuliendaje?
Hiyo shamba nikalichukuliwa na alami fulani hivi, masonko fulani kutoka ese.
Walami kutoka ese?
Lakini sasa mimi niko fit, at least mzee wako ndo alinipaga hii wax.
He did?
Cheki, acha nikachapiana na mtasisi wako, tutachapiana. Askona Nita.
Yes. I don't know why I feel like I seem to trust you more than your other colleagues.
Niko sure dia hawana noma.
I doubt that. Look at this list.
Mtu 9.
Yes, that's what I thought. Can I trust you to counter check all the items on the list?
Sawa.
Can I trust you to be honest?
Naweza.
Lucy thinks she's got an opportunity to rip us off. That's all.
Sawa.
I think Steve and Lucy are trying to rip me off.
How do you know?
Glenn, I have lived long enough with Hero to know when I'm being played. And Kama too.
But did you know that Eric was once our childhood friend?
No.
He was. I can remember his dad, and him and Dad used to be close.
Okay, and what happened?
He was found dead in his house a long time ago.
I'm sorry to hear about that.
I am too. Except I think Dad had a hand in it.
No, Glenn, please, don't do that again. Not Dad.
Because there was a land involved and a few white people from SA.
No. What? No, it can't be. I don't accept that.
This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
Hi, Dad. I'm gonna come home for a few days.
Come on, let's go home. Seeing someone?
Yeah. I wish you had someone.
You're my girl.
There's still a lot of unanswered questions, but it appears Detective Thomas Craven was the intended target.
Mr. Craven, we have things to talk about. Like your name and what you're doing here? Like who shot your daughter.
I want to know what my daughter did here.
What she did was classified. Emma Charlotte Craven was flagged as a possible threat to the United States of America.
You're gonna follow me to the city of Boston? Welcome to hell. What does it feel like?
Daughter was Emma Craven. I'm the guy with nothing to lose.
This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
It's not about silk. It's not about human glory. It's about him, and everybody needs him. It's about his love.
Gowns by artist and designer Eliona Isakova have been seen on runways all over the world. She creates them with one goal in mind, to glorify God.
There are many painful surgeries, the cancer came back. Had to do more surgeries, chemotherapy, radiation. They told me you might not sing again. You might not even speak again. But I'm here today, I'm standing, I'm walking, I'm jumping.
We all love a good trip down memory lane, and all it takes is for us to evoke the memory with these exciting matches that remind you of the good times as we look forward for more memorable moments.
The most striking feature of Sanchez's play has been his ability to score in the most acrobatic fashion, a skill no doubt inherited from a family of gymnasts.
Watch these epic matches every Saturday late afternoon, only on KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
Really gets past the first challenge, and the keeper really made a hash of that.
There is much more in store for you.
Na msibabaishwe na yale mnayoyapitia, hata yawe magumu kiasi gani, yote yatapita. La msingi ni kuweka tumaini letu kwa Mungu aliyetuumba. Katika kitabu cha Warumi 5 mstari wa 3, wala si hivyo tu, ila mnafurahia.
Kupata Dhiki Huleta Zaburi, bonyeza star 811 star 963 hash. Bonyeza star 811 star 963 hash.
It's the first Friday of the new month of October 2020, a day when the Jubilee Party National Management Committee decided to propose the removal of Deputy President William Ruto as the party's deputy leader. And in a 5-point argument, the NMC, led by the Jubilee Secretary General Raphael Tuju, cites maybe some of the issues that they feel that the DP Ruto is not complying, especially with the party, and talking about disrespect of the head of state who is the party leader. Talk to us and tell what's your thought on NMC's or the Jubilee Party National Management Committee's proposal to have Deputy President William Ruto removed as the Jubilee Deputy Party Leader at Purity_Museo and at KBC Channel 1 News. The hashtag to use tonight is Channel 1 Weekend. For that and much more stories that we have lined up for you tonight, you can interact with us on Facebook and on Twitter. Channel 1 Weekend begins right now with the day's highlights.
Deputy Party Leader, as a self-declared presidential candidate of 2022, will not be allowed to use the party headquarters as a center of operationalization of his 2022 campaign.
Jubilee National Management Committee has called for the removal of DP William Ruto as deputy party leader. Bring it on. Leaders allied to DP Ruto dare the Jubilee Party to make good its threat to remove him as the deputy party leader. And the numbers keep climbing. 7 more people succumb to COVID-19 as Kenya records 210 new coronavirus cases. My name is Purity Museo, and Simon Karodha is our sign language interpreter tonight. Once again, welcome to this broadcast at Purity_Museo and at KBC Channel 1 News. Tonight, we ask you what your opinion is on the Jubilee National Management Committee proposal to have Deputy President William Ruto removed as the deputy party leader. Keep talking to us on Facebook and Twitter. It will be a pleasure to go through some of your feedback and opinion during this broadcast. Let's begin our broadcast. The top story tonight: the Jubilee Party National Management Committee wants the the Deputy President William Ruto removed as the deputy party leader. Jubilee Secretary General Raphael Tuju chaired the party's management and resolved the Deputy President will not be allowed to use the party headquarters to run his presidential campaigns, claiming his action on Thursday to the party's office amounted to a coup. The party's management concluded that the Deputy President has exhibited insolence and disrespect to President Uhuru Kenyatta.
A day after Deputy President William Ruto led dozens of MPs to Jubilee headquarters, party's National Management Committee, led by Secretary General Raphael Tuju, convened to engage on what they perceive as attempted power grab.
We have witnessed in recent days the following that are attributable to the Deputy Party Leader, Honorable William Ruto. That has been an exhibition of arrogance, insolence, and disrespect of President Uhuru Kenyatta, who is also the party leader of Jubilee.
The management considered what it claimed to be recent events by the deputy president, including declaring support for an independent candidate for the Msambweni by-election against the party's position, failure to attend COVID-19 conference held at KCC last Monday, and the continuous opposition of government's agenda.
While we recognize that it is important that we exercise wisdom and patience at the party headquarters, which you know I've done. I've never spoken like this before. We have been forced by this, among other events, to make a painful choice between supporting our president or supporting the deputy president. We serve one president at a time.
The management committee, according to Tuju, has recommended to the National Executive Council to have Ruto removed as deputy party leader. Further, the deputy president has been barred from running his presidential campaign from Jubilee party headquarters.
The deputy party leader, as a self-declared presidential candidate of 2022, will not be allowed to use the party headquarters as a center of operationalization of his 2022 campaign and to use the center for intimidation of potential opponents or intimidation of the staff. He will no longer be allowed to use the party headquarters to make such statements that are principally for his breakaway faction of the party. The NMC has recommended to the NEC that the DP ceases to be deputy party leader after he opened the so-called Jubilee Asili offices that is reserved for him and his allies until such a time that this development of Jubilee Asili will be discussed at the NEC.
Tuju dismissing efforts by politicians allied to deputy president to organize party grassroots elections. But in a quick rejoinder, MPs allied to deputy president have dismissed Tuju's statement, saying the deputy president is the deputy party leader as per the party's constitution, and the secretary general was overstepping his mandate. Kevin Washira, Channel 1 News.
Moving on, President Uhuru Kenyatta has for the first time broken his silence on the Chief Justice David Maraga's advisory to dissolve the parliament for its failure to enact the 2/3 gender rule. While acknowledging that the matter is still in court hands, he could not say much about it. The president stated that achieving gender parity is not easy, especially in a democratic society. The president also said he was not interested in hanging on to power at the end of his term.
Chief Justice David Maraga's advisory to President Uhuru Kenyatta has sparked uproar in the country, with political opinions clashing on the merits and demerits of such an eventuality. But in an exclusive interview with France 24 television during his official visit to France, President Kenyatta acknowledged the challenge of attaining gender parity in a democratic society.
The spirit of the Constitution was actually one of progressively getting there, because at the end of the day, we have to recognize that we must balance between the rights of citizens to elect their representatives and the need for us to be able to have gender parity in any country. And let me say, and this is a fact, in a democratic society, that is not easily achievable. You have countries like the United States, I think even France, that have yet to achieve that particular objective. So we're all striving to get there.
He, however, said the matter will be resolved once a case challenging the advisory is concluded.
I don't really think I want to comment on that, because that is a matter that's now back again in court. And in Kenya, you know, for us, so long as matters are before a court, we don't want to comment. We will wait and see the outcome of the case in court, and I think that then will determine the way forward.
On his relation with his deputy, William Ruto, The president said his reaching out to the opposition was only meant to unite the country.
That my intention is to do everything I can to bring the people of Kenya together, to ensure that the next election will not be an election that shall be a tense election or an election that can lead to a potential crisis of ethnicity. And that is the reason I reached out. Now, of course, there are some maybe who feel that as a result of that kind of partnership and me reaching out to the opposition is meant to sideline William Ruto.
Yes.
But there's nothing more to the contrary, because what we are trying to do is to bring people together to agree on those issues that divide us and then be in a position to actually have an election where the people of Kenya will have an opportunity to choose for themselves thereafter the leader and have a system that is more inclusive so that the results at the end of the day will be such that there will be both acceptability because there shall be a feeling of inclusion and that no one has been left behind.
President Kenyatta further rubbished claims of planned constitutional changes to have him cling onto power.
If I have achieved this, I would have achieved everything I ever dreamt and wanted for my country.
So you don't want to remain in power one way or the other?
Oh, please. I would rather come and enjoy a holiday in France every summer.
Timothy Kipnusu for Channel 1 News.
A section of Jubilee legislators allied to Deputy President William Ruto has termed the party's Secretary General Raphael Tuju an opposition sympathizer who should not be allowed at the party. Speaking during the funeral service of Esther Toyoe Kiptuna, the mother of the National Olympic Committee of Kenya President Paul Tergat at Chergei Farm in Nakuru, which was also attended by Deputy President William Ruto, the leaders claimed they will continue meeting and engaging at the Pangani office to further the party's agenda of transforming and uniting the country.
Allies of the Deputy President have provided a quick rejoinder to Friday's pronouncement by the Jubilee Party Secretary General Raphael Tuju. Speaking in Nakuru County during the burial of the mother of former Kenyan marathoner Paul Tergat, the leaders accused Raphael Tuju of undermining the Deputy President and sowing division in the Jubilee Party.
We are members of Jubilee by choice. We were elected to become members of Jubilee. We campaigned and looked for votes so that you became relevant to hold that office.
The leaders daring the Jubilee Party to make good its threat of kicking out the DP from his position in the party.
Tuju is an ODM sympathizer. He's an ODM sympathizer. He does not need to be in Jubilee. Ndiye ameleta hii confusion yote katika Jubilee. Na nimesikia tukiwa hapa na najua by the way anapigania kiti ya gavana huko Siaya.
Led by Elgeyo Marakwet Senator Kipchumba Murkomen, the leaders instead called for the resignation of Raphael Tuju.
You cannot tell us we will not meet in that office in Pangani, my friend. We will be there Monday, we will be there Tuesday, we will be there Wednesday, we will be there Sunday, for as long as our money is funding that office and our votes brought the number of resources that are given by government, we shall be in that office. Now,
the Deputy President who was in attendance chose to steer clear of the debate, instead urging leaders to focus on service delivery to the citizenry.
Mambo hatutaongea ya mamlaka na power, tutaongea mambo ya empowerment. Mambo hatutaongea ya positions ya watu wakubwa, tutaongea mambo ya jobs na nafasi ya kazi kwa watu wadogo. Na tunasema hii mjadala itabadilika. Hatutakuwa tunaongea mambo ya viongozi.
Ruto once again chiding those opposed to his philanthropy, arguing that the mandate at hand is shepherding Kenyans out of poverty.
Hii tunasema hii wheelbarrow conversation. This wheelbarrow conversation is a conversation not about our tribes. It is a conversation about our economic status.
This wheelbarrow conversation is not about positions for big boys. It is about jobs for ordinary people.
Timothy Kipnusu for Channel 1 News.
11 minutes past the hour. Tonight we ask you what's your take on the Jubilee Party National Management Committee to remove or to suggest removal of Deputy President William Ruto as the party deputy leader, of course citing disrespect to the president. At Purity_Museo and at KBC Channel 1 News. Also tell us where you tuned in from on Twitter. Joseph Wajeri, you're saying you tuned in from Oloitoktok, and Ben Mark, you're watching from Masinga Masako. And then we also have Boka Lemain, you're saying you tuned in to Channel 1 Weekend. We're taking our first commercial break. Don't go too far. We have plenty more to come. Stay with us. The Ministry of Health has announced 200
When the world changed, it made us go back to the simple joys and love the little things even more, like serving up your best, eating together, and sharing more. Now, we'll take nothing for granted and always remember to taste the simple joys. Coca-Cola. Taste the simple joys.
This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
Hey, Dad. I'm gonna come home for a few days.
Come on, let's go home. Seeing someone?
Yeah. I wish you had someone.
You're my girl.
There's still a lot of unanswered questions, but it appears Detective Thomas Craven was the intended target.
Mr. Craven, we have things to talk about.
Like your name and what you're doing here?
Like who shot your daughter.
I want to know what my daughter did here.
What she did was classified. Emma Charlotte Craven was flagged as a possible threat to the United States of America.
You're gonna follow me to the city of Boston? Welcome to hell.
What does it feel like? Daughter was Emma Craven. I'm the guy with nothing to lose.
Jumapili hii kwenye runinga ya KBC, ungana naye Askofu Michael Wanderi wa kanisa la Christian Foundation Fellowship Kiambu kuanzia saa 1 hadi saa 2 asubuhi.
Ningetaka nikwambie, our Jehovah God, because the Bible says he is the same yesterday, today and forevermore. He is able to take you to a place of abundance. He is able to take you to Rehoboth in the name of Jesus Christ.
Kipindi ni neno la neema, ukiletewa naye Askofu Michael Wanderi wa kanisa la Christian Foundation Fellowship Kiambu. Usikose.
This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
About how many of our girls are actually expecting children, and they are children themselves.
During my teen life, I got a baby, I got pregnant when I was 16.
Most men do not care how the girl will feel. For them, they are after one thing.
I had to stay at home first, take care of the baby, then go back to school later.
Girls need to have a vision. Where do you want to go? And I'll tell you, teenage pregnancy is a dream killer.
Who mentors you? Who are you looking up to at that moment? Who has come and approached you and has worked with you?
She got her education, and God blessed her with a job and a husband.
KBC Channel 1 evokes the full potential of worship in you.
You are the living God. Oh.
You waited for me, just for me.
Join us for an experience like no other when it comes to lifting your soul and giving adoration.
We are here for you. Tasimama tena, tainuka tena.
Worship experience. today's mix.
And many thanks for staying with Channel 1 Weekend. Let's continue with our broadcast. The country's COVID-19 death toll has climbed to 725 after 7 more people succumbed to the disease on Friday. The Minister of Health says Kenya's coronavirus cases have also risen to 38,923 after 210 people tested positive for the virus out of a sample size of 3,065 tested in the last 24 hours. The Ministry of Health has announced 210 new coronavirus infections in the country, taking Kenya's caseload to 38,923. The country's death toll also climbed to 725 following the death of 7 more patients. 141 of the new cases are male, while 69 are female. Out of the total number of cases confirmed Friday, Nakuru County recorded the highest number of infections, with 75 people testing positive for the virus. Nairobi County came in second with 37 cases, Mombasa 15, Trans Nzoia 13, Kakamega 11, Kilifi and Uasin Gishu counties recording 8 cases each, Kisumu, Kiambu and Machakos 7 cases each, Bungoma 5 cases, while Elgeyo Marakwet and Nandi recorded 2 cases each. Taita Taveta, Kajiado, Meru, Murang'a, Kericho, Baringo, Laikipia, Embu, Vihiga and Narok counties recorded a case each. The Ministry of Health says 91 people recovered from the virus on Friday, 77 of them being patients who were under the home-based care program. And the Ministry of Education has released guidelines on the resumption of studies for all teachers. Training colleges in the country, third-year diploma in teacher education candidates are expected to resume class on 5th October and will be in college for only 2 weeks ending in October 16th to complete their Kenya National Examination Council exams, while the continuing students will study for 9 weeks ending classes on December 18th for their 3rd term. Exams for certificate in early childhood development ECDC candidates will begin on the 3rd week of October 2020. The Ministry of Education has released a revised calendar for teachers training colleges for 2020 that will see third-year diploma in teacher education DTE candidates stay in school for only 2 weeks, beginning October 5th to complete their NEC examinations. According to a circular released by the ministry, continuing diploma in teacher education students will be in college for 9 weeks until December 18, 2020 for their 3rd term. Primary teacher education PTE candidates will remain in college for 9 weeks and do their teaching practice when primary schools reopen. Certificates of early childhood candidates ECDC candidates will be in college for a period of 3 weeks beginning October 5th, with the exams set to be administered at the end of the 3rd week. The continuing students will study for 8 weeks from the 26th of October to December 18. The Ministry of Education has also ordered compliance of health and safety protocols developed for the implementation during the phased-out resumption of face-to-face learning in tertiary institutions. Principles are to ensure availability of temperature guns for daily monitoring of body temperature for all trainees and staff. Institutions strengthen guidance and counseling services and align their reopening plans in respect of infrastructure, water and sanitation, and hygiene preparedness. The 2021 school calendar will be made public later. In other news, President Uhuru Kenyatta says Kenya is firmly on track to implement the Beijing Declaration on the Empowerment of Women and Girls. Speaking during a virtual meeting of the United Nations General Assembly, President Kenyatta said gender equality remains central to the development agenda of the Jubilee administration as enshrined in Kenya's constitution.
President Kenyatta says Kenya has adopted robust policies and legal frameworks to promote, enforce and monitor the realization of gender equality and the empowerment of women and girls.
Your Excellencies,
Gender equality remains central to the development agenda of my administration, as is indeed enshrined in our Constitution of Kenya.
The head of state told the United Nations that his government is actively engaged in efforts to permanently eradicate gender-based violence in the country.
Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Kenya's implementation of the Beijing Platform is on track and in line with the 12 critical areas of concern. Our national blueprint for Vision 2030 outlines flagship projects for the promotion of gender equality, inclusive economic growth, prevention and response to gender-based violence, elimination of female genital mutilation, and other harmful practices.
President Kenyatta, however, cautioned that the COVID-19 pandemic is now threatening to reverse the gains made in the empowerment of women.
The COVID-19 pandemic, which has caused not only a health and social crisis, but also an economic one the world over, thus threatening our gains on gender equality.
To mitigate against the effects of COVID-19, the President said Kenya has deployed economic relief packages and established a COVID-19 emergency fund to mobilize resources towards curbing the spread of the virus.
We are also implementing transformative social protection measures through major cash transfer programs with nationwide coverage, providing benefit to over 500,000 vulnerable households throughout our country.
The head of state was speaking during a virtual high-level meeting of the United Nations General Assembly to commemorate the 25th anniversary of the 4th World Conference on Women.
And to Msambweni by-election update, Omar Boga, the Orange Democratic Movement flag bearer in the upcoming Msambweni by-election, has made a passionate plea to residents of Msambweni to elect him as the next Member of Parliament. The former MCA says if elected, he will use his experience in the maritime sector to harness sea resources with a view of creating employment for residents of Msambweni constituency.
Now my pleasure to declare that
Omar Boga has joined a growing list of candidates seeking to succeed the late Suleiman Dori as the Member of Parliament from Msambweni constituency. Boga on Thursday beat a host of other ODM hopefuls to clinch the party ticket with 6,183 votes. Boga, who will fly the ODM flag in the 15th December poll, said he intends to make job creation a top priority if elected MP.
Mimi mwanzo kwa bahati nzuri nimekuwa kwa Kenya Fisheries Service Board. Kwa hivyo mambo na blue economy nimekuwa expert. Nimekuwa huko kwa miaka miwili. Nimeresign juzi. Kwa hivyo najua kwamba kuna plans za kutrain vijana wafanye deep sea fishing. Wana plan kutrain vijana 2,000. Kwa hivyo na kwa sababu vijana wangu hapa wengi ni wavuvi, wanajua kuogelea, wakipata hii training itakuwa mzuri. Pia tunajua kwamba tuna plans za kujenga port, Shimoni Port, kuanzia December na Liwatoni. So lazima vijana wetu wapate skills ndio waweze kupata hizo opportunities. Kwa hivyo tutahakikisha pamoja na senator na wengine vijana wetu wanapata hizo skills. Yeah.
Other candidates who have so far expressed interest in the Msambweni parliamentary seat include Sheikh Mahmoud Abdurrahman of the Wiper Party, independent candidate Charlotte Mariam Akinyi, Hamisi Mwakaoji of the United Green Movement Party, and Charles Bilali, who is running on an independent ticket. The Msambweni parliamentary seat fell vacant in March following the death of area MP Suleiman Dori. Reporting for Channel 1 News from Mombasa County, I'm Michael Mwandiga.
The Kenya Film Commission is set to establish and equip a film hub in Embu County in efforts to promote a local film production and tourism in the region. This follows the signing of a memorandum of understanding between the Commission and the county government of Embu as part of an extensive objective to boost film making in the country.
The film and tourism industries in Embu County have received a major boost after the Kenya Film Commission and the county government of Embu signed a memorandum of understanding on Friday. The deal also includes equipping talented filmmakers in the county with skills to pursue and grow their talent. Embu Governor Martin Wambora says Embu County is endowed with beautiful natural sceneries which would greatly benefit the two sectors.
We are also going to showcase our
tourism facilities. There are quite a number. We have a game reserve called Moya Game Reserve in the county, which is almost the same size with the Nairobi Game Park, but there's a difference between the two. The difference is that the Nairobi National Park does not have elephants. We have a lot of elephants down in Embu, as well as giraffes and other big five. So we have things to show.
In accordance with the agreement, Embu County Government will, among other obligations, provide the Kenya Film Commission with adequate space for the establishment of a film hub, facilitate adequate high-speed capacity internet connections for the purposes of distributing film content, and provide support towards marketing and promoting content.
Partner with Kenya Film Corporation in executing film and tourism promotional events as shall be mutually agreed by both parties from time to time. Cooperate in undertaking film industry capacity building. We shall provide the trainers and they will provide the trainers.
KFC Chief Executive Officer Timothy Owase said their part of the bargain includes setting up and equipping the film hub, which will include a research section, meeting room, video editing facilities, sound studio and film library.
The parties shall collaborate in undertaking capacity building and the film industry promotional initiatives as shall be mutually agreed. The next one is to develop, promote, market and facilitate growth in the film industry within Embu County.
The KFC will also provide requisite technical staff and their connected remuneration.
Kenya Film Commission has begun a journey of transforming the local film industry to a level where we are able to do film business to an international standard.
On the corridors of justice, the Director of Public Prosecutions, Nordin Haji, has recommended further investigations into the procurement irregularities in Kenya Medical Supplies Authority. Haji has returned the Kenya Medical Supplies Authority files to the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission to tighten what he claims to be loose ends before making any further directions.
The Director of Public Prosecution, Nordin Haji, has returned the KEMSA file on alleged 7.8 billion COVID-19 procurement irregularities to the EACC for further investigations. In a statement, Haji said that his office received the files containing 6 names of senior officials at KEMSA from the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. The DPP said his office had finalized reviewing the files of alleged beneficiaries of the alleged scandal at KEMSA, and upon review, it emerged that the scope of the investigations was massive, with several witnesses, entities and thousands of documents to be examined. Haji said prosecutors from his office will now work closely with EACC detectives in addressing the gaps before he approves charges. The DPP further noted that he is yet to receive a special audit report on the utilization of COVID-19 funds by KEMSA from the Auditor General Nancy Gathungu. Meanwhile, a group of petitioners have moved to court seeking to have Tharaka Nithi Governor Muthomi Njuki cited contempt of court. Through their lawyer Kurauka and company advocates, the petitioners claim the governor has breached the terms of his release issued by Anti-Corruption Court Chief Magistrate Douglas Ogoti on the September 9, 2020 by failing to leave office and communicating, threatening and intimidating witnesses through public statements and rallies. They now want the governor to be completely stopped from executing duties related to his office and the mandate handed over to Deputy Governor. And the Mombasa High Court has temporarily stopped the Mombasa County Directorate Liquor Control from issuing licenses and collecting levies from bars and restaurants in the county. Justice Doka Chepkwon issued stay orders on grounds that there was no public participation between the liquor traders and the county government of Mombasa, saying it was illegally formulated. The levies wrangle case was filed in the court by Mombasa County Bar, Hotels, Restaurants and Guest Houses Welfare Group Owners Association, seeking orders to nullify the act that came into force in 2014. Elsewhere, Kiambu Law Court has granted 14 days for detectives in Kiambu attached to the Directorate of Criminal Investigations to complete their probe into the alleged murder of a security guard at a club in Kiambu town by a bodyguard attached to Githunguri MP. Chief Magistrate Patricia Gishohi further ruled the suspect will be charged on October 16, 2020 once the prosecution is ready. Sergeant David Okiki had requested the court to grant the prosecution 21 days, saying the offense is serious and needed thorough investigations. The defense team, however, opposed the request, saying it should be reduced to 7 days.
The Kenya Broadcasting Corporation has partnered with Bethel Network, a local non-governmental organization, to provide a community outreach in Murang'a County. The initiative aims at educating students on reproductive health in a bid to curb vices such as teenage pregnancies and substance abuse among the young generation. The two-day initiative is also being used to train students on matters hygiene and life skills.
And we've managed to reach over 200 girls in this school. What we do is we talk about life skills and menstrual hygiene management, and we teach them about self-awareness, self-esteem and confidence, and after that we give them sanitary towels to last them the whole calendar year. Today we are happy that we've partnered with the Soro FM just to come and raise awareness of the need of menstrual hygiene management in our schools.
We are very happy to have Bethel Network working with our children, supporting our girls, and I can say that none of the girls has ever missed class because they don't have sanitary towel. We have also seen our girls getting self-confidence because Bethel Network, whenever they come, they give life skills to our learners.
Such a noble initiative by KBC and Bethel organization right there. In other news, long-distance truck drivers in Kenya have protested delay in release of coronavirus test that is a mandatory requirement before crossing the border to neighboring countries. Elsewhere, Water, Sanitation and Irrigation Cabinet Secretary Cicely Kariuki has read the Riot Act to contractors who fail to complete projects on time. These and more stories from counties up next.
This is a situation at Malaba's Northern Corridor Park track stretching to 15 kilometers. Truck drivers getting impatient as COVID-19 testing has become a Herculean task. The drivers are now threatening to ignore the mandatory testing requirement.
Paka tuambiwe tutapimwa corona ama tutapimwa ama hatutapimwa.
Elsewhere, Water, Sanitation and Irrigation Cabinet Secretary Cicely Kariuki says no contractor will be allowed to extend contract for water projects past the set deadline of completion. Speaking after inspecting water levels at Loitoktok, Kajiado South, Mzima Springs in Makueni and Taita Taveta, Kariuki said all 22 national government water projects which are ongoing countryside should be completed by March 2021.
We have agreed that in 2 months' time, that is to November, first half of November, this project will be ready for commissioning. And therefore, I came here to just emphasize the need for us to keep to those timelines.
Meanwhile, researchers and innovators have been challenged to collaborate in order to come up with ideas that help address issues affecting Kenyans. The Director General of Kenya Medical Research Institute, Professor Yeri Kombe, said concerted efforts in research will help cut costs and at the same time yield quick results.
In this process, I can tell you for sure, a lot of innovation also comes out. The innovative minds that we have from JKUAT and the innovative minds that we have in Cambridge, marry them and you can imagine what actually comes out of that.
In Samburu County, the National Council for Population and Development is collecting views from residents of area concerning amendments to the population and development policy implemented in 2012. This follows concerns from leaders in the region that figures reflected in the 2019 national census are too low and did not capture the real situation on the ground. And Rift Valley Regional Commissioner George Natembea has put on notice bandits and criminals operating along Laikipia and Baringo counties. Speaking at a security meeting held at Maituiki Shopping Center in Laikipia West constituency, Natembea said the government will pursue all persons possessing illegal guns in the region.
Ile tabu ambayo iko hapa ni kwamba maofisa wetu
wanafanya mambo ya lot of negotiation na wahalifu, kupanga mambo ya wahalifu. Unaona tu ni mtu tu unaongea na yeye vizuri, lakini yeye hana nia nzuri.
In Nairobi County, residents of Jiru in Eastlands have decried increased insecurity in a riparian land within Dandora and Jiru areas. Stakeholders championing for the rights of persons living with disabilities have implored the government to ensure that sign language interpreters are assigned to all institutions and facilities in the country. Stakeholders say many persons living with disabilities cannot access services in hospitals and police stations, among others because of language barrier. And finally, Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru says the only way to end the stalemate on the 2/3 gender rule is through the Building Bridges initiative. She spoke at Kiamugumo Primary School while distributing sanitary pads to over 200 girls.
A number of you are following this broadcast live on our social media platforms, especially on Facebook. And we have Bonnie Wazee, you're saying you're watching from Ekwara Kisi. You're watching live with your dad, Samuel Orechi. Thank you so much. And then Joshua Omuka, you're saying what actually conspired at Jubilee headquarters is a clear indication of what the 2022 politics hold. We still expect more drama. Nyairo Orenge, you're saying you're watching from the Bomas of Kenya. And Edu Musa, you're saying Kwani party ni atuju, Ruto was elected, not selected rather. Ruth Mwasema, you're saying you're watching from Kayole, Nairobi. Keep watching and tweeting and texting, and of course your feedback and especially your opinion on what the Jubilee Party National Management Committee was suggesting on the removal of Deputy President William Ruto as the party deputy leader. In the global news, more than 300 students in Namibia have tested positive for coronavirus since schools reopened. The Minister of Health says more cases are in boarding schools. Elsewhere, the UN tribunal in Arusha, Tanzania, has appointed 3 judges to conduct the trial of Rwandan genocide suspect Felician Kabuga. More in our global news roundup.
The United Nations Tribunal in Arusha, Tanzania has appointed 3 judges to conduct the trial of Rwandan genocide suspect Felician Kabuga. Scottish Judge Alian Bonomi will preside lead proceedings, assisted by Uruguayan Judge Gracelia Susana Gatti Santana and Ugandan Judge Elizabeth Ibandan Hamia. On Wednesday, the French top court backed Kabuga's extradition to the UN court, but his lawyer wants him to be tried in The Hague, citing the coronavirus pandemic and his client's health and age. Kabuga is alleged to have backed and armed ethnic Hutu militants who killed about 800,000 ethnic Tutsis and moderate Hutus. Meanwhile, Mali's government has abandoned a controversial proposal that would have paved the way for its leader to replace interim President Bahando. This is contained in a roadmap for restoring civilian rule after the August 18 coup published by the junta. The publication was one of the demands by the West African Regional Bloc, ECOWAS, to lift the sanctions imposed on Mali following the coup. The junta proposed that its head, Colonel Assimi Goita, would replace the president of the interim government. ECOWAS had indicated the need for clarifications on the transitional charter and the role of Col Goita before sanctions are lifted. Elsewhere, more than 300 students in Namibia have caught coronavirus since schools reopened. Namibia's Ministry of Health say most cases are in boarding schools. Health Minister Kalumbi Shangula said safety guidelines should be followed to stop transmissions in closed areas like schools. Namibia closed schools in March because of the COVID-19 pandemic and reopened them in June. All teachers and students were to wear masks at all times to prevent the spread of the virus. School administrators were also to ensure high hygiene levels. Namibia has so far confirmed 11,373 coronavirus cases with 123 deaths reported. And United States President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania Trump have tested positive for coronavirus and are now in quarantine. The president, aged 74, belongs to a high-risk group. The announcement comes just a month to the November 3rd presidential elections, where he faces Democratic challenger Joe Biden. Hope Hicks, the 31-year-old advisor to the president, was the closest eye to the president and was the first to be confirmed positive. She traveled with him on Air Force One to the presidential TV debate with Democratic rival Joe Biden in Ohio on Tuesday. The coronavirus has infected more than 7.2 million Americans, killing more than 200,000 of them. Finally, Armenia's foreign ministry says it stands ready to engage with France, Russia and the US on halting 6 days of fighting with its neighbors Azerbaijan. Casualties have increased in the southern Caucasus, with both sides accusing each other of launching deadly attacks. The conflicts around the disputed territory of Nagorno-Karabakh erupted on Sunday. The enclave is officially part of the Azerbaijan but run by ethnic Armenians. The two former Soviet republics went to war over the territory between 1988 and 1994, eventually declaring a ceasefire. However, they have never reached an agreement over the dispute.
In the world of business, the cost of living is expected to further go up after the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority adjusted upwards fuel prices. A litre of super petrol is up by 1 shilling and 20 cents, while diesel and kerosene increased by 58 cents effective from midnight. The regulator says the latest pump price adjustments are in line with the upward review of excise duty based on the adjusted average inflation rate that came into force this month.
Kenyans will have to brace themselves for an increase in basic commodities after the Energy and Petroleum Authority recalculated monthly fuel prices that resulted in increases. The upward adjustment, according to the regulator, was necessitated by the Kenya Revenue Authority's decision to increase excess duty on super petrol, diesel and kerosene after taking into account the average inflation rate of 4.94% for the 2019-2020 financial year. The retail price of super petrol increases by 1 shilling and 12 cents over the next 11 days. Kerosene and diesel prices have been increased by 58 cents over the same period. With the adjustments, Nairobi residents will now pay 106 shillings and 35 cents for a litre of super petrol, with diesel and kerosene retailing at 95 shillings and 9 cents and 83 shillings and 73 cents respectively. Mandera residents will pay the highest prices, with a litre of petrol going for 119 shillings and 59 cents, diesel for 108 shillings and 13 cents, and kerosene for 96 shillings and 77 cents. Mombasa residents will pay the least for the commodity, with a litre of petrol retailing at 104 shillings and 18 cents, diesel at 92 shillings and 73 cents, and kerosene at 81 shillings and 37 cents. The new prices will take effect from midnight and will remain in force until 14th of this month. Benson Rioba reporting for Channel 1 Business.
And 20 insurance companies are yet to inject more capital into their businesses to comply with the government directive and risk losing their operating licenses at the end of the year. The National Treasury extended by 6 months to 31st December 2020 the deadline for compliance with the capital adequacy ratio for insurance companies. Insurance Regulatory Authority CEO Geoffrey Kiptum says January the regulator will have no choice but withdraw the licenses of non-compliant insurers.
The Insurance Act was amended to require that insurance companies in Kenya at all times maintain the capital adequacy ratio of 100%. This requirement was to come into force as at 1st of July. However, National Treasury Cabinet Secretary extended the deadline for compliance to the end of the year. Insurance Regulatory Authority CEO Godfrey Kiptum says as at 1st of July this year, at least 20 insurance companies had not complied with the rule. He says the insurance industry regulator will have no choice than withdraw licenses for insurers that will not have raised their capital by the end of the year, as required by the directive. Experts have called for consolidation through acquisitions and mergers to have well-capitalized insurers, noting that the Kenyan market is too small to have 49 insurance companies. This emerged during the release of the Insurance Industry Annual Report for 2019, that the gross premium income grew 6.1% to 229.5 billion shillings in 2019. This pushed insurance penetration marginally lower from 2.4% in 2018 to 2.3%. Insurers saw their net profit more than double from 7.3 billion shillings they made in 2018 to 15.1 billion shillings last year, driven by increased investment income. General business dominated the industry, accounting for 57.6%. Despite this, insurance companies incurred a net underwriting loss of 3.2 billion shillings, largely driven by the motor insurance class that posted a loss of 6.9 billion shillings. Workmen's compensation class performed well, making 1.7 billion shillings, followed by personal accident at 518 million shillings and marine insurance at 501 million shillings.
The government is targeting to generate at least 2,000 new jobs annually in the blue economy. Transport Chief Administrative Secretary Wavinya Ndeti says the opportunities will be generated from intergovernmental collaborations and partnerships with multinational shipping lines.
The World Bank has so far invested over 10 billion shillings to develop Kenya's blue economy. If optimally exploited, experts say the sector that currently contributes 0.5% to the country's GDP can generate 2 million jobs. Transport Chief Administrative Secretary Wavinya Ndeti now says the government is seeking to leverage on collaborations with multinational shipping lines to generate employment opportunities in the blue economy.
Vile tumepanga, sisi tunataka tukue na percentage yetu ya watoto wetu wakifanya kwa hizo shipping line, and we are working towards it, because mtoto akienda, kama ni mtu anafanya kazi ya hospitality, hata kusafisha tu kwa ship analipwa 120 minimum, maybe 120,000.
This, coupled with increased investments in activities geared towards exploiting water resources, is projected to create the jobs.
We know what we want and we know what we are doing, and we are going to make sure that we empower our young people to get into those shipping lines. Now tukiwaambia mkienda huko mnavumilia, hakuna kitu rahisi katika hii dunia.
Players in the blue economy industry are being encouraged to consider renting office space at the new 16th-floor Kenya Maritime Authority headquarters that is 86% complete.
The seafarers have been, the association, what have been advised to is they make an application for some space in this building so that they are going to be closer to the regulators. So if there's anything to be handled, then it is within the same building.
In the recent past, the government has been prioritizing implementation of blue economy programs to grow the sector that has huge untapped potential. Benson Rioba reporting for Channel 1 Business.
Malaysian Aviation Group, the holding company for Malaysia Airlines, says the group is unlikely to make payments owed after November unless it receives more funding from the state. Here are the details of this and other stories in our international business roundup.
The letter from Malaysia Aviation Group follows a request by the troubled carrier for steep discounts on aircraft rentals from its lessors as part of a broad restructuring plan. Malaysia Airlines later confirmed in a statement that it had reached out to its lessors, creditors and key suppliers recently as it embarks on an urgent restructuring exercise. According to the letter, the aviation group was experiencing an average monthly operating cash burn of $84 million, but only had $88 million in liquidity as of the end of August, and an additional $139 million available from Khazanah, its sole shareholder. Malaysia's national airline has struggled to recover from two tragedies in 2014, the mysterious disappearance of flight MH370 and the shooting down of flight MH17 over eastern Ukraine. Elsewhere, thousands of UK businesses may not need to set up an European Union presence if they want to export goods to European markets. Both EU and UK law will require companies to have a door to knock on if there are any disputes over payment and compliance, with customs changes that will treat the United Kingdom as if it were any other non-European country from next year. Many EU companies do not want the additional risk and cost of being responsible for compliance with custom procedures. Large EU importers of UK goods want the products delivered to their warehouse door, with the UK exporters taking that responsibility. Finally, hard knocks trailed President Muhammadu Buhari's justification of recent fuel price hikes in Nigeria on the ground that neighboring oil-producing countries of Niger, Chad and Ghana, as well as Saudi Arabia in the Middle East, sell at higher prices. In his 60th independence anniversary broadcast, President Buhari said it makes no sense for fuel to be cheaper in Nigeria than in Saudi Arabia, where it sells for 168 naira per litre. The federal government of Nigeria in March said it had removed fuel subsidy, consequently pushing up the price of petrol from 148 naira to over 160 naira per litre. Many Nigerians have expressed dissatisfaction with the timing of the hike, considering the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic on the economy.
Let's now have a look at some sports. And World Under 23,000 steeplechase silver medalist Leonard Bett has said he is not under pressure to perform tomorrow when the last leg of the World Athletics Continental Tour gets underway at Nyayo National Stadium. However, he has expressed his optimism and zeal to shine as he will be facing his Kenyan counterparts, African Games champion Benjamin Keegan, Abraham Kibiwot and Amos Kirui.
We are trying as Kenyans to perform well, but my target is to perform to increase my personal best if it will be okay. Of course, there are some countries who are coming up in steeplechase, so we are not reluctant. So as a steeplechase has been a Kenyan race, so we are trying our best and training hard to make sure that we retain our titles.
Happy because we have that full support back home with everyone, family, and with everyone. Like we really appreciate because we are going to perform as like we are training home.
Good to hear that the track is fast. I've always thought that maybe it's not that fast, but the athletes are saying that it's fast, so we expect some records. And therefore, I want to thank all the Kenyans again for welcoming our visitors. When you hear them talking, they say that is a good environment. Kenya is a nice place, a good environment. People are hospitable, and this is the way to do.
Right, and Nyayo National Stadium will host the first World Athletics Continental Tour meeting on African soil tomorrow. The anticipation over the tour is high, partly because it will be the first major athletics event on the continent since the coronavirus struck. However, not more than 10,000 spectators will be allowed in the stadium during tomorrow's event.
Located at the square of Mombasa Road, Langata Road and the Aerodrome Road, and approximately 2 kilometers from the city center, newly refurbished Nyayo National Stadium will host the inaugural Continental Tour. Nairobi was to host the World Athletics Under-20 Championship this year, but the event was rescheduled because of the coronavirus pandemic. The Continental Tour is giving Athletics Kenya another chance to put on a great show this year.
We are going to observe all the guidelines given by the government, all the protocols from World Athletics to make sure that we give the social distancing. And we have also requested support from the government as far as the marshals are concerned. We want to use the National Youth Service so that they can assist us in ensuring that the staff, not the staff, the spectators can enter the stadium without any problem.
The refurbished facility has 4 additional dressing rooms, 2 on both sides of the pitch as well as 2 separate referee rooms. Each of the dressing rooms has lockers that are fitted with modern security safes. The upgrade of Nyayo National Stadium is a new chapter in sporting history, as sporting heroes can add more pages to their reputation as a sporting powerhouse. Frederick Mwoki for Channel 1 Sports.
All is set for the 2020-2021 UEFA Champions League season following the group stage draw that was done on Thursday evening. Right, and this will be the first time Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo have been drawn together in the group stage of the competition. The following is the glimpse of the group stage draw. And that brings us to the end of sports news and, of course, Channel 1 Weekend this Friday night. Many thanks for watching. And as usual, I promise to go through some of your feedback before the till end of the broadcast. And again, on Twitter, let me start with Facebook. Those who are streaming live. Ruth Mutunga, you're saying you're tuned in from Machakos. And Joshua Ishmael, you're also watching from Kisii. Nyatieko in Milimani. Rashid Haro, you're saying that you're watching from Garbatula sub-county. And then we also had Violet Karani, you're saying you're tuned in from Canada. Thank you so much. Also Samuel Nyakwar tuned in from Kitengela. And of course, having a look at more of your feedback, especially on Facebook. Joshua, you're saying you're tuned in. And Thomas Ongoto, you're saying the deputy president should be free to politic, but not from Jubilee headquarters. Benjamin Nyamu tuned in from Garissa County. And Vivon Sese, you're saying that you also tuned in. That is our feedback on Facebook. If I would just have a look at 2 or 3 from Twitter, Perez Otoro, you're saying that you're tuned in with Dennis Onyino watching from Eldoret. Thank you so much. I'll see you again tomorrow, Saturday, same place, same time for Channel 1 Weekend. Up next is the weather forecast. I'm Purity Museo. Simon Karodha has been our sign language interpreter tonight. Do enjoy the rest of our programming. Good night and God bless.
Good evening. Narok is the coldest tonight, temperatures standing at as low as 10 degrees Celsius. And for residents of the western sector, expect a little bit of rainfall tonight. For residents of the other parts of the country, dry weather conditions continue to dominate. My name is Yusuf Farah. You are right on time for Channel 1 weather updates. Let us see now how things will be looking Saturday morning, where sunny intervals continue to dominate most parts of the country, from the northeastern region all the way to the coastal region. For residents of Kericho, however, expect dry weather conditions with sunny intervals. In the afternoon, sunny intervals continue to dominate all over most parts of our country. From the coastal region, residents of Mombasa, you can go about your business in the afternoon, a walk by the beach or a swim, because the weather is conducive for that. However, for residents of Kericho, carry an umbrella with you because there will be rainfall accompanied by thunderstorms. As far as the temperatures are concerned, Mandera highs of 38, lows of 26, Garissa highs of 35, lows of 24, and here in Nairobi highs of 27 and lows of 16. On that note, I leave you with the international weather forecast. Keep warm, stay safe, and have a lovely night.
Hello viewers, welcome to KBC Channel 1, and I have a word for you, a word of encouragement, a word that's going to just make you stand up and move from that place where the enemy has just incapacitated you to know that God has good plans for you. Allow me to share the word of God with you from the book of 2 Kings, chapter 7, 3-9, and this is what the Bible says, that now, in that time, there were 4 leprous men at the entrance of the gate, and they said one to another, "Why are we sitting here until we die?" Some of us are in such a bad place, and we are telling ourselves, if we sit in this place that we're sitting in, we've lost jobs, we've lost our sources of income, we've lost friends. I mean, there's so much trauma that we have gone through in this year, and we feel like we are in a place of loss. And these 4 leprous men, they told themselves that if we sit here, we are going to die. Some of us, if we continue sitting in that place and sleeping the whole day and feeling depressed, guess what? The enemy is going to take us out, and I'm here to decree and to declare that that is not your portion in the mighty name of Jesus. And so they sat there and they said, if we will enter, if we say, we will enter the city, there is famine in the city. Some of you are saying, okay, if I go back to the company where I was working for, they will not give me a job. And the Bible continues to say, and we shall die there because the city is not better than where we are. And the Bible continues to say, and if we sit here, we die also. Now therefore come, let us surrender to the army of the Syrians. If they keep us alive, we shall live. And if they kill us, we shall only die. Verse 5, and they arose at twilight to go to the camp of the Syrians. And when they came to the outskirts of the Syrian camp, to their surprise, no one was there. Can I tell you what the enemy is intimidating you with? It is not there. It's just a facade that the enemy has put up. And I just want you to arise, to wake up from that place that you're in and believe that there is a better day for you. And believe that God did not define your life and cage your life to what your experiences have been. I want you to know that the things that God has stored for you, nor eye has seen, nor ear has heard, nor has it entered the hearts of men what God is about to do for you. But you need to make up your mind that you are going to arise